Rest in peace to the homie Skrill. Today they put him they put him in the grave today, man. He got shot about a week and a half ago out here in Denver. They sent him off in style though. Had a horse carriage. He went through the hood one last time, the east side, and there was about 1,000 people at his little funeral thing, bro. They shut down all the streets and the whole hood just walked through the east side. A beautiful thing. Much love to his family, much respect to his family. So yesterday, man, I'm making this video. So yesterday, I made a video, and it was basically telling the viewers and everybody that showed me love, you know what I'm saying, on the video, that I'm changing my YouTube up. And basically, I'm changing the YouTube up, and I'm doing an all-around YouTube channel. And I'm going to be doing a lot of work with my brother Al. And I told everybody, from the viewers to everybody that checks out my shit, you can ask me anything. You can ask me why I joined the gang life, how I got in prison. You can ask me stories about prison, how I got through stories about prison, how I became a Bronco fan, how Denver is. You can ask me anything, and I'll basically answer your question in detail. So I put my little thing, my little video on Google Plus, and I got some feedback on Google Plus, and the feedback was from a couple partners that watched my video. And you got to understand, when I put my video on Google Plus, it's a format that people talk on. So every time I put a video on Google Plus, you have people chopping it up about my videos and basically giving me love and input. So basically, one of the questions from the homie Jerry, he's a Google Plus general, not Jerry Lewis or whatever, the homie, not the Raider fan homie, but the other homie Jerry. He asked me pretty much how did it come about being Spanish and gente, and you know, from the Latin descent, how I got intertwined with the Lokes, how I got intertwined with the Crips, you know, and he asked what age I did. So I'm gonna answer the question on that. So I got put on my neighborhood about 13 years old. And I think people out there got a big ass misconception when it comes to Bloods and Crips and even different organizations, you know, about who's from the neighborhoods and who's not. You know, I think automatically people are biased against anything that they don't understand. You know what I'm saying? And I think honestly people actually kind of got this view, and they look on TV and they watch these videos and they watch TV and YouTube, and basically they feed into anything that they hear on YouTube. If they're not around it, they don't understand it 127%. So they go off of what people tell them, you know. So why I say that is people automatically think the Crip car, the Keyway car, is all African Americans, you know, is all just, and even the Bloods, they think that pretty much Crippin' and Bloods are just all African Americans, and that's a fairy tale. Even in California, bro, and it's real racial out there, you know. In California, a lot of motherfuckers out there is racial, but that started from pretty much a gang from Cali called the Coast Crip Fools, Jack and the M.A., and they got some of the Mexican Mafia, and pretty much the Mexican Mafia after that put a green light out on a certain hood, and it turned racial. You know what I'm saying? Because the Coast Crips is predominantly black folks. The Mexican Mafia is Sureños. The Sureños, especially the Florencia 13s, they are the little generals in the streets for whoever that put that little green light out, you know what I'm saying, from the Mexican Mafia. So it turned into a racial war, and that's when the racial tension really started, because before that, they used to do business, you know what I'm saying, back in the day. And I'm not going to give too much, you know what I'm saying, detail on that, but why I say that is that it's a fairy tale, because even in Cali, like Long Beach, if you go to Long Beach, you know, that's a part of Cali, and that city's predominantly pretty much 99% Crips, and then you got Sureños. But the Crips out there is not just black folks. Oh, come on, you can come in. You have Asian boy Crips. You got the Samoans out there, the SOS. You know, you got the UNC fools. They're all Asian, Samoan, Tonkins. You got Tonkin Crips out there, you know, and they're not, you know, African American, but they're riders. You know, they do what they do. And then you go to certain neighborhoods that are even predominantly black folks, and pretty much you got a handful of motherfuckers out there that are not black folks, but they grew up in them neighborhoods. You know, I know individuals from Diego that came from West Coast 30 gang from San Diego, Chula Vista, you know, and they're mixed breed. They're Mexican, and then they got Mexican family that ride with the West Coast 30s. And you know, they grew up in that neighborhood, Vista 30s, Vista 60s out there. And there was some gente out there that was banging that neighborhood. Vice versa, even with the, I know you fools are going to think this is surprising, but you got a big handful of black Sureños. You know, go to Neil Tazard. He's a black Sureño homie that been through the penitentiary system, been through every aspect of gang banging. He been to Pelican Bay. He got an old ass number. And he, you know, he went in there and he was riding tough for his neighborhood. I think when it all boils down to it, it's about the stature of the person. You know, if you're going to go the extra mile, you're going to go for the extra extent, you know, for, the neighborhood. Now, let me give you a little in detail intel. I'm kind of sick, but I did almost 10 years in the joint, bro. I got out on some good time, and I did the whole state. You can go check DOC Colorado 133184. That's my DOC number. And you know, it is what it is. I'm still here. I'm still standing. Yes. When I was in the joint, you know, motherfucker had to go extra hard, you know, but ain't nobody took it out of me, even in the penitentiaries out here. And when people say, oh, it's not the Cali pens, you got to understand, there was still the face of Cali in there, because you had Cali fools that were locked down in there. They didn't push the issue because they knew, I'm not trying to put it out there, but they knew what extent I was willing to take it. So miss me with all that shit. There's a handful of different races that bang the Lokes and the Bloods in DOC. It just depends on how you gonna hold yourself. It depends on if it depends on if you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, handle all your business that comes your way. If you're gonna be a rider, if you'll stick a fool, it just depends, bro. Once you got respect, they shut that shit down. So to get back to my initial story, like I said, that's a misconception. It just depends on the stature, bro. Maybe in California, it's a little different. Like when you go to East Los Angeles, because it's real racial tension. But I know fools that grew up out there. Like I knew a fool from, that chill with the 18th streets, and his brother, and he was straight Paisa. His brothers were Hoovers, bro. And they clicked up. They actually were family. You know what I'm saying? Like they were family. And, it went down like that, you know? So with me, the question that was really asked when I was, 13, my pops had, he actually got shot when I was 13. He died. He passed away. Rest in peace, Kenny Garcia. That was my pops. 13 years old, bro. I was already, honestly, dealing with my older cousins, my OGs, the fools that brought me in the game. I'm from East Denver, where predominantly where I lived was the start of what Crippin' was out here in Denver. 2742 Arapahoe Street. I grew up in the projects. I'm a Arapahoe Courts baby. The Middles, Project Middles. They used to call it Brick City. That's what they used to call it out here. My family is Cisneros. And in them projects, you had certain Spanish families, but I would say, honestly, and not even to lie, it was probably 80% black folks. You know what I'm saying? And then when you got to Bruce Randolph, that was like Little Mexico, but it was only a little sector. That's where you had the Mexican gangs, you know. But my projects, it was predominantly black, and then you had Spanish families in the projects that were very, very respected. And my family's a Cisneros family. And if you know anything about the Cisneros family, my family had a lot of clout. Roy Cisneros brothers. And they was out here doing the most. A couple of them, you know, got hammed up for chipping motherfuckers off. So in them projects, I'm about in the early 90s. I grew up on 27 Rap. I'm a youngster. Before Crippin' even hit, there was a hood called the Brick City Poppers, and their rivals was the BOYZs from Park Hill. You had the East Side Homies, the SA Fools, but Brick City Poppers were a unit of brothers, basically. They were in the projects, and they used to breakdance and shit. They had Cali ties to some Compton fools, which later down the road, when Crippin' hit Denver, the Cali fools actually moved to my projects. The CCRs, the Front Hoods, Boogie Bass, Big AWOD, you know what I'm saying? Ponytail, Big Ponytail, Static, like a gang of these Compton fools came from California, bro. And they had family ties with the Brick City fools. So that was the first area that, you know what I'm saying, the Comptons came to. Crippin' really came to the projects where I lived. And they were from the land, bro. They came out here because their family was out here in numbers. So when they got out here, it was Brick City, the gang, pretty much a breakdancing crew. They got out here and they were influenced by their family from Cali. And all of a sudden in the early 90s, Crippin' hit Denver. You know what I'm saying? With them Compton fools. And then, not to even mention that, another big Crip gang came out here. And it was on the other side of Downing, and that was when, you know, that was the Crips that came from out there. The fool Psych Mike had ties to Cali, you know what I'm saying? And that's how the 30s started, bro. Fools really thought this fool was from, they thought basically he had ties to the West Coast 30s from California. The Harlem 30s from California, my bad, that's two different hoods, but he came out here, and that was the first, when the Crips came out here, that was the first fool they dealt with. Well, Psych Mike, rest in peace, this fool, pretty much, he comes out here and he starts the East Side Crips, the Trey family, the Roan 30s. You know what I'm saying? Trey-O, but it was a Denver chapter. And then they had little homies, the Treys. And that shit all started the Trey family, the Triple Treys. And that was like a big ass influence that literally spread in Denver. The Crips were deep out here. They were way deeper than the Bloods, because the Bloods started like in 95 out here in Park Hill. And when that shit hit, it turned into colors. If you literally go back into Denver's history and you go look at, you know what I'm saying? This shit called the Summer of Violences, look and just put Denver Summer of Violences, and it will tell you about the gang problems when the Crips and Bloods really came out here, and it was the crack epidemic. It was like a miniature Cali. Fools was really getting chipped off over colors. Like, you didn't come through the hood unless you was really Crip down, and you didn't come through the projects unless you really were Crip down. And that's what it was. The Bloods stayed in Park Hill. They had to be riders because the Lokes was so much riders, so they had to survive, because it was like 5-1 on the Bloods out here from Crips. Well, in my projects when I grew up, like I said, I was young, and I was a youngin', bro. Used to come out the house, and on 27 and 26 in the projects, it'd be Crips out there, bro. And you sometimes would have to fight older fools, older people. You know what I'm saying? They'll take off on you like, cuz, where you from? And you have some other hood called ESGs, but the Crips ran them projects, really. And it was mad crazy over there, bro. Like, fools would be in the projects. You go through the projects sipping 40s, bro. They be sipping 40s, 20, 30 deep. That's when they started quoing. And you walk through the projects, and you'll walk through the corner, by the corner store of my family, you know what I'm saying, the family corner store, and they would hit you up like, where you from, cuz? Oh, you're that fool? Well, even if they knew who you was, they was going to test you. Just off of simple fact, you couldn't be over there and be a weakling. You couldn't be over there and be, come on, you could come in. You couldn't be over there and, what? Oh, yeah, order some food, tots. So you couldn't be over there and be, you know what I'm saying, soft. You couldn't be over there. You had to fight and survive. So it came to an aspect where it was a survival mode even growing up. But my cousins, Arapo Trues, oh, don't do that. My cousins literally, you know what I'm saying, they were older cousins, but my family's well known. Arapo Trues is a music group. You can go check out their music. They even went to the Bay Area. They went to Cali. in the projects on Arapahoe Street, you know what I'm saying? They were well known. They was already in the hood. They were introduced to the Brick City family. They grew up with the Brick City family. I'm not going to say introduced, but that's who basically they surrounded. They sat with the Comptons. A lot of Compton fools know my family. And they started pushing the Brick City family. My older cousins, bro, my OGs, my riders, I lived with them. After my pops died, my mom couldn't handle me. I was out of control. And I went to go live with them dudes. And my older cousins, bro, you ain't going to school. You out here kicking up dust, handing me pistols, and it's time to ride. And it was crazy because when I say ride, bro, you got to understand, I'm 13, 14 years old. My cousins is beefing with grown-ass men in the hood. Grown-ass hood fools. And on top of that, these fools that they're beefing with are certified killers, homie. You got fools from certain neighborhoods that were certified killers, and they were literally sometimes, the fools was really trying to chip, you know, motherfuckers off from the sector. So you had to go into survival mode. So it got to a point where anywhere you went, you had to keep the pistol on you, bro, because these fools were going to try to headhunt you. So think about it. Being a young-ass kid, and you have to be in survival mode 24/7 because you got killers that might hit the block on you. You turn and you become numb. You know what I'm saying? Numb to a fact where everything just didn't matter to you. And since my cousins taught me how to ride and they taught me how to be a man and a survivor, really, and I'm not going to say a man, but what I'm saying in the hood, as a hood little dude, you got to understand, they taught me how to be a motherfucker in the hood that was reputable, that handled my shit. And at a young age, they taught me how to survive, bro, to a point. I'm surviving, and I was beefing with a grown-ass man, and it turned me into a straight active-ass rider where I didn't give a fuck. At one point, I didn't give a fuck if I was going to go do an album for an AM case. I didn't give a fuck if I was going to die. I love the hood more than I love my life. I love the hood more than I love my mama, bro. I was emotionally attached because I felt like it was my duty to show loyalty to the people that actually raised me. And that was a fucked up mindset. Crippin' became a lifestyle. Crippin' became embedded. Crippin' became my bitch. You know, emotional. Where if I didn't have Crippin' at that moment, I would literally break down like I was in a relationship with my girl. I needed the hood. You know what I'm saying? Because the hood was the only thing I was good at. And then down the road, I get a little bit older. I start getting so much status that I got little homies. And I had little homies rolling under me, and I taught them little homies. I taught my baby bro, my little cousins. It's survive out, C machine, can't stop, won't stop. Mind is still hard as stone. And it was, you don't think about anything else but surviving, bro. So if that means murking a motherfucker, that's what you do. And then you deal with the consequences later. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody in my circle, is doing murder cases. I got partners that were young, 14, that caught murder cases because I taught them that. You know what I'm saying? But I was taught at an early age. That's how you deal with shit. That's what the crippin' was. I went to the joint, and in the joint, I had many different shits where I had to get down over the crip shit, where I had to get down over the racial shit. But I handled my shit, and I did a whole stay. And you can't find a bitch in me, bro. I was in riots and that shit. You can't find whole cake where I was in PC. I walked level 4 yards in Denver, Colorado, DOC, with the killers, fools that are never getting out. You know what I'm saying? And luckily I had the spiritual realm, though. My mom taught me the spiritual realm that he can be safe. He had, shielded me from a lot of shit. But I don't advocate that shit. I got out, and to this day, it's the worst emotional situation because to this day I'm traumatized. This is not a